What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with Howard Bender. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NFL Betting Playbook. Week 11 is here, Howard. And, man, we continue just to kind of kill it over at Fantasy Alarm with our NFL picks throughout the whole team, really, Howard. You and I. On this show, we put a bunch of picks in our bet tracker. Mark Lammy's crushing it. We're up over 70 units on the NFL season, making everybody money. And we're going to do it again this week, right?
Without a doubt. And listen, Thursday Night Football got off to a great start. I had the Pats covering the spread. I had the under. Unfortunately, I forgot to put them in the bet tracker, right? I gave them out on the Fantasy Alarm show on Friday. I popped those plays into Underdog and over in RT Sports for some pick'em contest, but I forgot to enter these picks into the bet tracker, but I did have. And I promise you this. And you can go back and listen on the SiriusXM app if you don't believe me. But I had the Patriots covering the spread. I had the under. I had Stephon Diggs over 4.5 receptions. I used the Pats in Survivor. And what was the other one? Oh, Breece Hall under 58.5 rushing yards. That play was actually over on RT Sports. And when I had made that, and then all of a sudden his line dropped to 57.5. And I was still I was in on the under, and it was just right there on the cusp there for using plays on Underdog, or if you had the 57.5, it was a tough one there. But dude, I feel good. I feel ready. And I've got another bet out there that just says it's just playing the percentages. I wonder if you can guess which one it is.
We'll find out. We'll start off right now. Oronde Gadsden over 50.5 receiving yards. You got the Chargers in this matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. Bender, what is it about the Chargers tight end that we're liking the over receiving yards?
Well, I love the work that he's getting. I was kind of skeptical at first because I figured, okay, here's a team that has all of these guys, right? McConkey, Keenan Allen. But they've reduced the snap share for Keenan Allen. They've increased the usage here of Oronde Gadsden over the last several weeks. Jaguars rank 24th in DVOA against the tight end position. They're giving up an average of 7 catches for 73 yards per game. So if you're going to give me Gadsden, an athletic tight end, against the defense that's allowing 72.5 receiving yards, he only needs 4 or 5 catches, not even 5 catches. He probably only needs 3 or 4 catches to best this number because he is a big yak guy. So give me Gadsden over 50.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% there. Again, just the way he started to be used in this offense. And they're really throwing the football well. I do like Justin Herbert a lot this week, and it's a great matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars here. So riding the hot hand with Gadsden in this matchup, I'm for it. My first pick here, we're going to go with the over 39.5 pass attempts here for Joe Flacco. This has kind of just been a tried and true play for us this season. These teams are just going to ride whatever is left of that arm of Joe Flacco until there's nothing left for him to give. He had the bad shoulder last week, and we all weren't sure exactly what was going to come of it. And then he goes and throws 47 times against the Chicago Bears. This matchup against the Steelers we saw earlier this season, it was his second start. He threw 47 times in that game. He's thrown over 40 times now in 5 of his 8 starts. Yeah, 39.5.
Get out there and throw it.
Yeah, so we're going to go with the over 39.5 pass attempts with Joe Flacco this week.
Yeah, listen, I've got a couple of other Joe Flacco props. I mean, this Pittsburgh's defense also not good for a team that has Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay, who actually might not even play, alongside Joey Porter Jr., and they're one of the worst secondaries out there. So, yeah, I love this play. And again, if you guys hit that bet tracker over at fantasyalarm.com, do yourself a favor there and get the other props that I've got for Joe Flacco. My next prop is, where is it, Johnny?
Hold on, we're lagging a little bit. There we go.
There we go. See? Woody Marks over 78.5 rushing and receiving yards. I've even seen that bumped up to 79 in a couple of spots here. I like the over on this one here for Woody Marks. I'll tell you what, the funny thing is I was very leery. I like Nick Chubb, but in DFS, right? If he can actually kind of work it out. But I really genuinely believe that if the Texans are going to really make that move and show that Woody Marks is their guy, then he's got to be the one also to help chew up the clock. It shouldn't just be like, oh, let's just leave it to Nick Chubb. This is a great time for Woody Marks to cut his teeth. We know that he's active inside the passing game. We know the fact that the Tennessee Titans, they're 25th in DVOA against the run. They give up like the 6th or 7th most rushing yards per game. So I really feel like you can utilize Woody Marks and kind of carve him up in a nice fashion here as well. So I think that they give Woody Marks, they continue to give him the volume. Maybe they do lighten the load here for Nick Chubb. Just seemed like a low number for a guy who's on the field all the time.
Sure. I'm kind of in that game as it is. I want Davis Mills over passing touchdowns. I gave you this play last week at plus money. It cashed. Going to give it to you again at plus money. Going up against Tennessee again. Don't think Tennessee's a very good defense. Obviously, they've struggled against the run, as you've pointed out. They're kind of like a middling team against the pass. Towards the bottom half of the league. I think Davis Mills is a good backup quarterback in the NFL. I think he could probably be a below average starting quarterback on some bad teams. I think we've seen some bad quarterback play this year. So giving me Mills here over the 1.5 passing touchdowns in this matchup against Tennessee, I could see it happening.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening as well. How about like a quick 82-yard pass and run for Woody Marks here, and that just kind of then we just open up the game like that, and that just kind of helps us ease up for the rest of the way.
Sure, I think we can see that happening. You get the over, I get the touchdown. We all have a good time there. Your next pick is Michael Wilson over 44.5 receiving yards. Obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. gets ruled out with the appendicitis surgery there, so Michael Wilson now the wide receiver 1-ish. Obviously, McBride is the top receiver there, but you're liking Wilson in this matchup this weekend.
Yeah, listen, I think that McBride's going to get some work. I think we are going to see a lot of 2 tight end sets. We'll see some Elijah Higgins, Greg Dortch on the underneath route as well. But, Michael Wilson is he's the guy who just has the most potential here to help stretch the field and do work over the middle as well. You look at what San Francisco's pass defense is, and they're allowing probably 60 yards per game on average to the opposing wide receiver 1. So I love that aspect of it. But the thing that I like the most about it is that San Francisco's pass defense, which ranks 25th, opposing quarterbacks are posting like a 105.1 passer rating. So it's efficient work. Mm-hmm. So when you look at a number like this, 44.5 yards, the efficiency with Jacoby Brissett finding him, does he stretch one out and help you, with this? He only needs 3 or 4 catches probably to hit this number as well. So I felt like it was a little low. I know a lot of people like Greg Dortch, but take Dortch on the receptions, take Wilson on the yards.
Sure. Again, that if they're behind, they're going to throw. Brissett's shown capable of throwing the ball downfield a little bit, so I'm not necessarily against it. And the 49ers defense certainly hasn't been up to snuff this season there. My last pick here, we're going to go with RJ Harvey under 53.5 rushing yards. Obviously, J.K. Dobbins is injured, not officially out yet, but not expected to play, obviously. They talked about putting him on IR, and that's going to put RJ Harvey, expected to be as the lead running back here. He hasn't really been an efficient runner in his limited carries this season. He has had some big runs that have allowed for him to have some decent games rushing total wise when he's given, the larger workload here. But the Kansas City Chiefs run defense is pretty good. And outside of last week, where obviously James Cook, got to them, that was the first time a guy ran over 100 yards in 2 years against them. I don't know. I'm just not buying RJ Harvey taking this big workload and being an efficient runner here. I could see them giving a bit more of a timeshare, using Harvey more as a change of pace and as a pass catching running back. If Dobbins ends up, not playing, which is the expectation, I just think it's a lot of yards and a lot of trust that they're just going to hand RJ Harvey this huge rushing workload when they haven't done it all season against a good run defense. So going to go Harvey under the 53.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, I mean, you got to hope J.K. Dobbins is playing, because I do think that I would have concern if Dobbins was out. Harvey will probably take that early down work, and then they'll use like Tyler Bidet to take the satellite back pass catching work off of Harvey's shoulders. But you're right. I mean, when you've got Chris Jones and George Karlaftis on the defensive line, it has been. I think they're only giving up like 105 rushing yards per game this season, and that's combined with like all the running backs and the quarterbacks. Let's not forget Bo Nix will probably, chew up a little bit of rushing yards as well. So let's just hope, that J.K. Dobbins is, active for this game.
Like I said, I took this with the assumption that Dobbins wasn't even going to play, but I still think that Harvey comes in on the under here in this one. Going to our lines and spread bets, you got the Giants +7. You took the Giants plus the points last week as well. Jackson Dart leaves that game with a concussion, and then Dayball gets fired. So you're on the fired coach narrative this week, is what my assumption is.
There you go, right? I mean, somewhere between 60 and 62% of the time, it's probably closer to 60 now that the Tennessee Titans disappointed us earlier in the season. What's that?
Disappointed you?
Disappointed me. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, that's right. It was against the Patriots. I just needed them to cover the spread. I didn't care about whether or not they were going to win the game or not. Just like I don't care if the Giants win this game here against Green Bay. But Green Bay has absolutely been a massive disappointment this year with like crazy losses that, would blow your mind. So, it's Jameis Winston, little hucket-chucket football. Wan'Dale Robinson, Theo Johnson, Isaiah Hodgins, Dan Bellinger. He's got enough targets to kind of just make it a little bit, annoying. You can also, deploy Tyrone Tracy as a pass catching back as well. So this is a percentage play. 60% of the time, the teams that fire their head coach midseason either cover the spread or win outright the first week back. Forget about afterwards. That doesn't matter. I'm talking about this game only. If you want to grab a half point on this one, you can. I just bet it Giants +7.
I thought you were about to give us the 60% of the time it works every time line, but that works too.
No, I mean it's kind of played out here. I could say my Sex Panther pick of the week.
All right. I got Houston, Tennessee game under 37.5 points here. While I like the Mills over passing touchdowns, I also just don't think a lot of points are going to be scored. Houston's got like a top 5 overall defense. And what have we seen out of Tennessee that think they're going to put up enough points here this week? So even if this one ends up being, 17-3 or something like that, 24-7, we're still coming in on the under 37.5. I just don't see where Tennessee's offense is going to put enough points. And even Houston's offense, well, they put up points last week against Jacksonville. There's still a lot of questions with them being on the road if they're going to be capable of really producing. So I'm going to go with the under here on the total, even though I still like the over passing touchdowns for Davis Mills.
The only thing that you got to watch out here is the obvious, the special teams touchdown. Chimere Dike, if he runs back a punt or two, maybe a kickoff or something like that, then that happens. But no, listen, I was actually looking at this. I was eyeballing it as well. I was like, I could probably go with the under on this one. But fortunately, you took it off my hands.
There you go. Your next pick here, you have an under. Bills Bucks under 46.5.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be one of those games where, well, first off, there's weather issues up there. There's going to be weather issues. They're talking about heavy winds, 30-mile-an-hour gusts. They're talking about rain and snow during the game. So you're going to have precipitation. It's going to make it a slick field. That tends to favor the offenses a little bit on that front, at least in the running game, because the running back knows which way he's cutting. The linebacker does not. But I think that these teams, I just don't see this being, if it was great weather, I could see these guys being like, let's chuck the ball all over the field here. Bucks secondary is not strong. Bills have definitely had their struggles. But, the Bills with this dink and dunk kind of a thing where it's just the slow, methodical drives that really kind of neuter Josh Allen. I look at this one here and I think that this one could disappoint. And I think the weather's in my favor for it.
I'm not going to argue with you here. Again, you're getting the Buccaneers on the road. Obviously, their offense is still a little bit hampered. You can run on Buffalo, so obviously that kind of kills some clock and can keep scoring down as well. We haven't seen obviously the Bills' offense, really be all too impressive outside of Cooks of late here either. So I don't mind the under on that play. 46.5 points is pretty high. One of the higher totals on the week. For my next pick here, I went the Rams -3.5. I like them at home against Seattle. I think Matthew Stafford, while Drake May currently is the odds favorite to win the MVP, Stafford's putting away far better numbers. The guy is on pace for 47 touchdowns, almost 4,600 yards, and only 4 interceptions here. A ton of offensive weapons for the Rams. They're at home. I'm just going to assume they go ahead and cover the 3.5, even though Seattle's been good and Seattle's defense is decent. I think it's just going to be too much for them to overcome with Nakua, Adams, Williams, and the way Stafford is playing right now.
Yeah, putting Julian Love on IR really kind of hampered, Seattle's defense, in the secondary. But I mean, listen, I was looking at this game trying to figure out which way I wanted to go. I mean, I love watching Sam Darnold and JSN together. I think that's like nice. I want to see Rashid Shaheed find success, over there.
Mm-hmm.
I was really close to doing it, but I was like, that front seven for the Rams also so good, right? Jared Verse is just I love this kid, man. I think he is one of my absolute favorite players running around out there. So I like it. My last pick, boom, 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 boom.
Cowboys -3.
I don't know if I'm drinking the Kool-Aid from the GM Jim Bowden, but I like a nice a home dog on Monday nights. BetMGM had it at 3.5. DraftKings Sportsbook had it 3. I'm like, okay, great. I'll take it. I'll take the 3, and we'll hope for whatever. If it is a close game, it's got a high point total, right? If it is a close game, well, so be it then. Let it ride that way. I don't want to lose by the hook, but I mean, Dallas's offense against this Raiders defense. Raiders defense doesn't scare me at all. I don't care what we just saw with them. Was it Thursday Night Football? Or was it? Yeah, it was Thursday Night.
Yeah,
Football,
Thursday.
right?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, they got their 10 days to rest. Ooh, doesn't faze me at all. I don't believe what I saw there. I think the Cowboys offense can really beat them up. And I'm also an anti-Geno Smith guy. I know that the Dallas's defense, actually, they are getting back some decent players, right? They just added Quinnen Williams to the defensive line.
Yep.
And I think that's going to help with the, stopping the run. But like Overshone is back. They're getting some of their edge guys back here. So maybe that's, enhances the pass rush. I don't love the Raiders offensive line too much. And I do hate Geno Smith. I was
gonna say, this just comes down to it. Obviously, the Cowboys have the better kicker. Brandon Aubrey can kick it from 70, and then they have the better offense, consistently with it. Dak was playing really well until that last week, so, I could see them just outscoring the Raiders, even if the defenses don't necessarily hold up for Dallas this week. My last pick, we're going to rock the 49ers -3. Again, Arizona Cardinals. Just not really feeling them.
No. I like this game. Like, this is another one because I do like Brissett, and I like obviously with Michael Wilson prop. I do like that, but again, the 49ers. I mean, you got to
get everybody back offensively.
Purdy's back, Pearsall's back, Jennings is there,
Kittle, CMC, and listen, Brissett's been a nice story, but we know what Jacoby Brissett ultimately is, and didn't really look that great last week. Started to kind of fall apart a little bit. The teams will have books on Jacoby Brissett. And you're taking away one of the few real playmakers that the Cardinals even have offensively with Marvin Harrison Jr. That they fed him early in that game, right? Like, that was one of the big reasons that they got off to the start that they did. They still had McBride, but now, 49ers can certainly just kind of focus on taking him away. And then what do you have? They don't have a good running game. They don't really have elite other wide receivers, right? They're down to Dortch and down to Michael Wilson, guys that have been 3s and 4s and 5s, in the years prior. So I think the 49ers get it done here. I just don't think the Cardinals are going to be that good. I think the wheels fall off Brissett a little bit.
And I'm okay with that, man. I'm okay with that. Deep down, secretly, I will just say this. Like, my plays are my plays, and, I bet with my head, not with my heart. But if truth be told, if you want to ask what my heart's looking for this week, it's absolute chaos and mayhem. Upsets galore, everything just a mess, because I already survived this week taking the Patriots.
I was going to say, Survivor.
I want everything else I am 100% team chaos this week.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like if that doesn't happen that way, at least I know I'm making money on my bets.
100% agree with you there. Again, you can hit this QR code, fantasyfarm.com/YouTube, promo code YT50 will save you 50% off your first month. Get access to all of our NFL bets, all of our bets really for all sports and all content for just $20 for that first month there. We have our NFL Experts Pick Tracker. Every NFL play that we put on site goes in that tracker so you can follow them, and some additional ones that aren't written up anywhere that we just bet that week you can find in there as well. Again, we're up over 70 units this season combined in the NFL here. Howard's got a 30% ROI on this picks this season in the NFL. So plenty of reasons to come try out Fantasy Farm right now for 50% off that first month. Benner and I will be back next week for week 12, everybody. Good luck. We'll talk to you then.